Yes.
We're so polarized, as you talked about with Jay. With Jay, we thought you polarized. The thing is, it's like, you can't even. You think, and then he comes down here. Those are his two moves. Jay's got. I'm up here, and then you go down here, and you come back up
I
here.
used to love his segues on the Tonight Show. Like they'd be talking, about the sitcom or whatever. Then here you collect toy trains. It's like what? Like what?
I remember being on the show. Catherine Ross finally, after my fifth appearance on there, whatever, with Jay, she said, "Stop waiting for Jay. Just keep going." And that was the best advice.
Well, but Jay Leno is one of the greatest people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't understand this animosity.
No,
that
because
comes
it
from
just
some of the-
happens.
and I hate
There's
to.
jealousy. Could you believe there's jealousy in stand-up? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I guess in not stand-up, but in getting the Crown Plum talk show. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
oh, sure.
And I don't know why Jimmy and Conan, who I both am so fond of, I don't want to be in the middle of this, but I mean, I just don't know why they seem to hate him so
I know,
much.
but
and,
it is.
and
it
he's
is like
such
a
a
car
great
crash.
guy.
You have to
He's
watch.
not.
There's not one person that Jay hasn't helped. I mean, literally, I drove him. One of my first things I ever did, in the early '80s, I had a manager, of course, and he said, "You're going to pick up Jay Leno. You're going to know the San Francisco like the back of your hand. You take the Thomas Guide. That was the thing. Thomas
I
Guide.
remember.
You take him, and you take the Thomas Guide. Exactly. You have a sign at the airport. You pick up Jay, and then you take him to the radio show. Then you take him to the club, and then whatever Mr. Leno needs. And so I did it.
What year is this?
This is 1983, 84.
Perfect.
I think that was just when he was doing hey, on the Letterman show. Hey, let me tell you, what's your beef, Jay? Hey, let me tell you my beef. I'll tell you one thing right now. I got a beef, Jay. Let me tell you, Dave. And he would murder. He would murder.
Absolutely. Nobody ever did talk show spots quite like Rodney.
He had material.
Rodney did, but Rodney would just do another 6 minutes. Johnny would say nothing, and they'd make a joke about that.
Right.
But Leno killed in that.
Oh,
I mean, that's what got him the Tonight Show.
Oh, yeah. Well, he took that as the opportunity that it was. And a lot of people come on there and try to be smart, whatever.
Yeah.
He said, this is my 4 minutes, and I'm going to murder.
I'm
going to go to commercial and come back for 2.
Yes.
And he did.
Yes.
But he was a guy, I remember, he was so nice, and he said, so, any good Chinese restaurants? I said, yes, Mr. Leno, because I was a San Francisco kid. My mom's Filipino. We went every Sunday. We went to this place, not to the fancy place, but we used to drive by the fancy place where the politicians would go. And my dad would go, that's the place the fancy people go. This food's just as good. We're going to go, it's just as good. Chinese food, it's even better. Let me tell you what, it's not as fancy. We're not fancy, My dad always considered the Temple, it's a fashion show. We don't need to go to Temple. It's a fashion show. And so we went to I said, Mr. Leno, that's the best place. And he says, come on in. We're going to come in. I don't eat by myself. We don't eat by. And he finally said, so are you a comedian? And I said, yes, Mr. Leno. And he said to me, how much time you got? And I said, about 8 minutes. He said, good. Most people I ask how much time you got. I got 6 hours. I can do 6 hours. I got 2 hours of clean, 2 hours of dirty. And I was like, I said, who would need to hear 6 hours of comedy material? You either have 20 minutes that kills every time, everywhere you go. You got nothing.
Right.
That's all you need. You got to have 5 minutes that kills every time, everywhere you go, or you have nothing. And I said, and you don't need 20 minutes to become a star. And truthfully, I worked after that lunch with him. I worked my ass off to get 5 minutes. And a couple of years later, I got on Letterman doing that 5 minutes. And truthfully, me, Spade, Rock, Sandler, never had more than 20 minutes.
And the thing also about Jay is he would always bend over backwards if there was some sort of a beef to try to end it. Like people would fuck him over and he would call them.
I know.
And I just don't understand where
I was having a problem at NBC, and he took me aside and he said, hey, listen, kid, I was doing Men Behaving Badly, and I literally was out of my fucking mind. I've been in therapy now, dealing with stuff I should have dealt with 20 years ago. I'd be able to buy a place like you have too.
Like what?
No, but I had a problem with an NBC, because I hated doing the sitcom. It was called Men Behaving Badly.
I remember.
I fucking hated the fact that we have all these episodes from England. They're hilarious. Let's just do those. And they promised me they'd do that. And they took them over here and they watered them down. And I listened to to Warren Littlefield, who promised me, we're going to make it just as funny, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, so I was performing with a shirt that said performing under protest. All the people were the writers laughing at their own shit. And then Jay said, hey, listen, You got to figure out a way to make this thing work for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think they can get another Jay Leno? They get another Jay Leno tomorrow. You don't think they get another Tom Cruise? They get another Tom Cruise in a week. Or maybe 2 weeks because it's Tom fucking Cruise. But you know, everybody else, you know, so you got to find a way. And I was like, just to him to take the time.
Yeah. No.
Of course, I didn't listen to him. But if he were just taking the time, I mean, he was just the greatest.
I want to know about these things that you could have paid a house for in therapy.
Oh, yeah. No. I pissed off I fucked up so badly.
What do you mean?
No, I just like what happened was.
What did you
I
fuck
didn't
up?
realize
You're a household name.
Oh, thank you. But no, I should.
But I mean, like when you think about all the people you started with, I mean, I always think about it like the military. You know, we went into battle with 1,000 guys, and like a lot of them are dead.
Yeah.
And not dead really, although some of that too. But you know, just dead, and they never. And you know, you're Rob Schneider. I mean,
God bless you.
You know, can
That's another thing Jay Leno told me. He said, you know, I get these guys call me up. You know, he say, hey, you know, I'm sorry I'm doing Jay, but I just listened to your podcast.
You're very funny.
He said, like, you know,
well, I can do it too. You know,
said,
well, you're not the only one. I can do it too.
These guys called me up and they said, hey, listen, Jay, can you put me on for 5 minutes? And I said, how is it going to help you? He said, it's like you're 40 years old. You only got 5 minutes. You haven't written a new act, and now you're fat. You know?